to meet every 2 years, whether we needed to or not.
Whether you needed to or not, right? Only if somebody was moving their house like Mike, right?
Right.
And I fully understand the benefits that the PRC is saying, economic development, rights of landowners, but I just want to kind of tell you about our story. So my wife and I grew up in Minnesota, in the Lakes area. Always thought we'd retire back there one day. I have a brother-in-law that lives out here, a sister-in-law, and we were all visiting, and it was in October of 2018. One of the neighbors called and said, "Hey, we need to move some farm equipment." So the next thing you know, I'm driving a tractor down the road, right? And, here's a city boy driving a tractor, and I have no idea where we went because it was pitch dark, and I think we were in the tractor for about 40 minutes, and I had got the opportunity to tell the neighbor that the farmer neighbor, that how much I enjoyed it out here. It's so beautiful. There's such nice people, and that type of thing. 2 years later, I get a call from her, and she says, "There's a house out here that you might be interested in." So we went and we took a look at it, and we bought it, and we saved it from being, potentially vacant home. The guy that we bought it from had to move back to Pennsylvania, and for us, though, it became this is our dream, our peace, tranquility, something to. I like to have projects, and boy, have I got projects now. Especially after this wind, I've got extra trees to cut down. And now, when I was getting ready to shingle a pole barn, and when I was up there on the roof and looking out over the landscape, and right now, all the fields are green, and I know that come fall, everything's going to be golden, and it's going to be waving, it's just beautiful. And instead of seeing that, I might have to just sit and look at wind turbines. Wind turbine farms, WTF, right? So I understand property rights of landowners, but a lot of those landowners don't live here. They're not going to have to look at these things. And so just as you make your decisions, just consider the small farmsteads who just want to live here and be part of this community. We're the ones who vote. We're the ones that spend money in the community. We're the ones that will be living with the WTF on a daily basis. And please consider others like us that might want to escape city life. We recently had a house that just sold, and the people came from Wisconsin, much the same story as ours. They've been hunting out here for years, and they just wanted to get out here because this is God's country. So, we've, like our property, we've spent a significant amount of money putting on an addition. And so that's a way that we feel we boost the economy by doing that. There's lumber, there's spray foam, and carpenters, and plumbers, and electricians, and so we spend a lot of money doing that, and that's another way, if we can keep getting people to move here and invest. There are more ways for economic development than giving away the one thing that can never be replaced, and that's the beauty and serenity of this land. One of my traits in my job is that I look for issues from different angles and try to find alternative solutions. And so previously I submitted some comments about the WTF setback, which I thought at least potentially was a win-win for the Flickertail project and for the people going forward, and that was to have a 1 mile setback, except for any leases that were already signed as of January of 2025. Every weekend when I commute out to Wells County, I feel the stress of city life just kind of melt away with each passing mile, and it's truly the highlight of my week to come home to Wells County and to our farm. And I look forward to my retirement and establishing full-time rural living. I know this decision is likely going to be a split decision. It's probably not going to be unanimous, but I urge you to make a decision so that we can all figure out what we need to do to move forward. Thank you. Thank you.
You got a list?
I got a list.
All right. You can announce these people as long as you got the list.
As long as I'm not messing up names, I apologize in advance.
It's okay.
Annette Spray,
I mean, how many are there?
Well, 13.
Okay.
Mine's 2 minutes and
Oh.
43 seconds.
Excellent.
Unless you make me cry.
I
Then
will-
it'll be longer.
The floor is yours.
Okay, I'm Annette Sprague. My husband Steve and I, as he said, we purchased a small 14-acre farmstead in Fram Township in 2020. I've been living here permanently since like 23, 24. The past few months, I've learned so much about Wells County operations and politics. I've met third and fourth generations of families my parents grew up with in New Rockford and Bremen. Most importantly, I met my neighbors in Fram and the surrounding townships. Fram Township is a tight-knit community. We look out for and support each other. Many owners and residents like us chose Wells County to move into, and a lot of the residents actually came back to their farms, or their parents' farms or grandparents. I reviewed the plat map for existing houses in Grams Township, and I'm aware of 14 to 25 properties, which is over 60%, almost 60% have had expansions and/or improvements the past years. And our expansion, I never knew because he's a CPA and he never told me how much I spent on our property, but it's significant. And we're relatively new to this area, so maybe there's more than that too, but I think that's a lot of homes that have been perfected in this little township of ours. We're simple people. We support local businesses and pay our taxes. We don't have money to travel south in the winter. Our needs are few. We like a bit of acreage with lots of trees, quiet, serene, natural scenery and habitat for deer, eagles, pheasants, etc. Unobstructed views without window blinds. The ability to open our windows in the morning to hear the morning doves, the crickets, tractors, combines, and most of all, the great neighbors that we have around us for support and recreation. The Planning Commission and County Commission are responsible for promoting health and safety for residents, assuring orderly and harmonious development while managing growth in a manner that supports housing choices and protecting the quality of life of its residents. Wind farms and other projected economic boosts for the county should not cause the demise of the rural townships. Once a property is blighted and abandoned, it won't be brought back for habitation by humans or nature. If you have no rural residents and or homes, the burden of sustaining the county budget will fall on the city taxpayers, out-of-state landowners, taxes, and potential economic needs that you anticipate. I've attended all the meetings, watched the videos, submitted prior correspondence, listened to your rural residents and their neighbors as you draft this WTF ordinance. My recommendations remain minimum 1 mile setback from property lines and residents and dwellings with a variance. It's important for you to get this right. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette.
Diane Knudsen.
Hi. First, I'd like to state that the 75 wind tower project of Eddy County is not our issue tonight. This is Wells County, and hopefully we'll learn from their situation or circumstance or condition what they currently have. My name is Diane Knudsen. I'm a resident of Wells County and in Fram Township. My father and uncle entrusted to me to be the 4th generation caretaker of their property. It was homesteaded by their grandfather. They knew the love I too shared for this farm. I take my obligations seriously, and I want to maintain the integrity of this property. I'm a landowner, non-farmer, but support farmers and rural lifestyles. I have a peaceful view that has been enjoyed by family and friends to now include 6 generations. I ask that the Planning Committee please consider rural homeowners in this setback being discussed of future wind towers in the county. I feel a 700-foot tall, 550-foot wide wind tower is very intrusive. City residents are not affected by a massive wind tower within a quarter mile of their property. I understand you're looking for economic development. Wind towers are far more expensive than they appear to be, costs that will affect proposed revenues. Spoiling natural landscapes, extensively increasing noise levels, damaging roads, killing wildlife, affecting livestock, increasing costs to farmers, and devaluating rural properties are costs to rural residents. No risk to city residents. My neighbors are important to me. We are supportive of each other. We care and are helpful. I would not do anything to damage the trust they have for each other and ourselves and our properties. I enjoy riding in their tractors or combines in planting and harvest, bringing cookies, water, and Gatorade. I know what they like. It is fun for me and appreciated by them. I continue to learn a lot from my farming neighbors. I would say that 90% of the time, my noise level is only nature. Occasionally a train, a plane, or tractor and equipment on the land. I love watching wildlife and cattle grazing, frequently watching soaring eagles and hawks over River Valley. My pasture goes to Cheyenne River, runs through my pasture. Wind tower companies apply for permits to kill eagles. I haven't read anything in our local paper about this or other significant challenges of wind energy. How ranchers are affected by the extensive increase in noise levels, constant humming noise, intermittency of power requiring backup power sources, increase in our electricity costs or bills. Costly upgrades of current transmission lines are currently not designed to handle this. Who pays for this in the future? Wind towers can interfere with electromagnetic signals, including radio, television, radar, and communication systems, affecting air traffic control, weather forecasting, and other critical functions. Higher effect, of course, to rural residents near the towers. Shadow flicker to residents, which we've talked about. So I'm supposed to install window blinds, I guess, to cover that in the future if there was one next to me. There is also the potential increased risk of fires due to potential reductions in soil moisture and turbines catching on fire. Safety hazards of blade failure, especially if a blade fails while spinning. Also ice accumulation on blades. How far do the chunks fly through the air? It appears to me that anything that might shine a negative light on economic development of future wind tower farms in Wells County is not newsworthy. Disappointed to say the least that I am considered a disgruntled minority towards economic development of our community. I am not. I have invested in my community. I shop locally. We have improved our farm using local contractors along with locally purchased materials from our businesses. We have had a positive impact on our community. I'm here to ask to please carefully consider the rural residents' concerns and approve a minimum of a 1 mile setback from an occupied dwelling or a building that can be a dwelling for rural residents' protection. Respectfully, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Diane.
David?
There. So I've done a lot of briefings, but never without PowerPoint, so this is really difficult for me. I was having a really hard time being able to speak without having slides. But setbacks, I'm going to give it a shot. Setbacks is probably the biggest issue that we'll talk to tonight. And then the code, the Burley Code, I went through it. I've gone through a lot of codes, but some of the minutia, maybe we get the big stuff taken care of. Maybe if they say, well, we'll get the hubs and the ores taken care of later, just so we can push this on.